Thread Sports Network. It's your favorite guys again. We got Colin, we got me, we got Nolan today. We don't have Brian, but he'll be back with us on Thursday for our review episode and leading into the next week. So a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. This was a very exciting football weekend. Didn't look that exciting at the beginning, but now we're starting to really see everybody's true colors and where's everybody really looking at. At this point in the week, we've had some people get fired. We've had some people get injured. We've had changes in Heisman. I mean, there's been a lot going on, and we're only at week 4. So today we're going to talk about, as always, our dog of the week. That's that player that went above and beyond, kind of put his team on his back, and it's just making it happen. This one, you guys are probably not going to be shocked about who it is this week because he has hit the headlines this week very heavily. We're also going to have our near miss, and then are they gone, which is a team that, essentially what it says, they're gone. And then our personal top 25 is not going to be the same thing as the AP top 25 because there's a lot of things that a lot of them are not going to agree with on. Our Heisman, national champs, as well as our main game review for this week covered that we just had last week. So very exciting stuff. And then obviously our quickie segment at the end where we hit those games that maybe weren't the big games of the week, but it's always good to talk about because these may be teams that have some push for playoffs or have some quality, offenses, defense, whatever it may be, and just may be relevant for us as well. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about dog of the week. I mean, this guy, Fernando Mendoza, we talked about it as a group, trying to figure out who it was. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue. I mean, at this point, now that, just kind of leading up a little bit, John Mateer's now injured. So he is now, from my understanding, the Heisman frontrunner at this point. And, I mean, if you look at his stats, 21 for 23, 267 yards, 11.6 yards. I mean, 5 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's a stud. I mean, yes, you want to say it's Indiana. They don't play anybody. But they do play. I mean, they played Illinois, which was at the time number 9 team in the country.
People thought this game was going to be close. And us being one of them, I mean, on our Book It segment, we had a Illinois +6 play that never had a chance in hell. And spoiler alert, we have a new name for our Book It segment moving forward, and we're going to talk about the Book It segment on Thursday. We have scrapped the Book It name, and it has now became the name of Faded. We have a whole new name for the Book It segment because it is ice cold right now. And Fernando Mendoza, Dave, was part of that reason. I mean, 11.6 yards per attempt, and you still went 21 to 23. That's pretty impressive stuff. So we're going to let the dog part Fernando Mendoza because this guy was an absolute monster this week. Nolan, what do you think about Mendoza?
Is he better than Curtis Rourke was last year? I know that's a tough question to ask because Rourke was so good, but is he actually better so far through the season than Rourke?
Dude, that is so – I mean, recency bias, you want to say yes, right? But I don't know, dude. Rourke was really, really good, too. Really underappreciated for what they did.
I don't remember Rourke doing this against such a highly rated opponent last year is the big thing. I don't know because stats-wise, I think Indiana turned it on a little bit more from week 1 all the way through week 4. But I think Indiana this year, they might have what it takes to actually come out on top in some of these top 25 matchups.
Yeah. It's just tough, too, because it looks like Mendoza's going to get Indiana to the playoffs, right? I mean, Rourke did that, so it's hard to sit here and say. But up to this point in the season, yeah, probably. I also think Mendoza, I think it's hard because I think Rourke also kind of paved the way for what Indiana and Cignetti were trying to accomplish, and it worked so fast. And then Rourke has a bum knee and still goes out there, dude, and plays at a high level of football. So it's really tough for me because I was a huge Curtis Rourke fan, but recency bias, I'm going to say Mendoza is better, especially at this point of the season. Dave, while we're kind of actually talking, not to hop in real quick and get ahead of ourselves, but while we're kind of talking about the Mendoza thing, you kind of touched on it already. Let's go ahead and talk about these recent Heisman odds, right? I mean, so you're talking about Mendoza right here. This was late in the day at this point when Mendoza has became the Heisman frontrunner. Let me show you something funny. It's not really funny, I guess, but earlier in the day, wrong one, I think. I uploaded the wrong pic. Oh, no, there it is. John Mateer was number 2 right behind Mendoza. Well, this injury news comes out about John Mateer, and if you haven't seen it, John Mateer's having hand surgery. And they're saying he's only going to miss, Nolan, 3-4 weeks for this hand injury that's having surgery on?
That's what they claim is 4 weeks as of now.
I just don't know how much I believe that that's going to be that short of time. You?
I haven't seen what he had surgery on, so hard to tell. But 4 weeks back from surgery, that's crazy fast. I don't know what he had surgery on, so I can't really speak about it. All I saw is that he's having hand surgery as of today, and he will be out 4 weeks.
Dude, what's wild is as soon as he has his hand surgery, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this list now that the news is out. And he has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's not even in the top 15 now, which I get it. You're missing games, so it's going to be hard to win it. But I still think he was probably your front runner over Mendoza. Not my personal opinion, but I think with the national media and everything going on and how much material was getting hyped up at a rapid rate, I think he was definitely the favorite in my opinion, even though the odds didn't show that. And now he's gone, which is crazy. So let's do what we normally do. And Dave and Nolan, who's a guy on this kind of Heisman list right here now that Mateer's kind of out of the way and it seems a little even more wide open? Who's a guy on this list that you're liking? I mean, a plus 650 through 4 weeks in the season, that's got to be like a record for worst odds compared to recent years. Usually you have a clear-cut front runner at this point, it seems like, but it's 650 for the favorite. Fellas, this is wide open. Who are we going with?
I don't know, to be completely honest. Exactly like you said, it's so.
I feel like
no one frees up.
Oh, we lost no
one. One person. I'm taking 4 people and putting $5 on 4 different people at this point.
I feel like, and I kind of looked over that list and kind of churned on about it. And I think at this point, and I not that I necessarily think he's the number 2, but I would put my money on Carson Beck. Now, not because I think he's a phenomenal talent, but I think he has the experience, and he has been significantly better at Miami this year. I think he's been significantly better. Jeremiah Smith, I haven't seen a whole lot from him, to where I'm like really like he's going to win it. And I feel like as a wide receiver, it's always a lot harder to beat out a quarterback. Like quarterbacks always seem to get it. Dante Moore, I don't think he has really been amazing. He's been good, but again, he's on a loaded Oregon team. So I don't know that necessarily Miami has got some talent too, but I don't think to the extent that Oregon does. So I think Carson Beck is a little bit better. Marcel Reed, something's bound to happen. I just feel like it's just a ticking time bomb.
For me, it's still going to be a little bit of the Dante Moore thing. I know he's been in the number 2 spot now, but fellas, for the last 2 weeks, every time we throw this up here, I've been hitting on Dante Moore and feeling pretty good about it. Now, playing Penn State this week, I mean, we're going to see what you got. We're going to see what you got, and then if it's bad, you're going to see him slide down this list. And then I feel like it becomes more open again. I don't think Mendoza goes and wins it. I mean, you see Mendoza so high up this list now at plus 650 with a large gap to the top because they just beat the absolute dog shit out of Illinois, and that helps. So I think that's why you see him move there. While we're doing this too, let's go ahead and throw up our national champs. Here's, I think, the top 12-ish of the national champs. And once again, this seems completely wide open. Notre Dame still to me right here towards the top, like in this list, is a conversation that we're going to have probably every week until we get late in the season. If they don't lose another game, you're crazy if you're taking them at plus 3,000. That's horrible odds, in my opinion, at this point in the time when Notre Dame already has 2 losses. Unless Texas, I know they just beat the hell out of what? Sam Houston State? Sam Houston? That's Sam Houston.
They're
right?
0-4, though. They were 0-4.
Who?
Sam Houston.
Oh, yeah, they're a horrible team. Texas finally did to somebody what they should do. So I'm not taking – what up, Jordan? Thanks for getting in here with us. I'm not taking Texas either. Like, you can miss me with this plus 750 on that. I kind of like knowing a second ago. I don't know who I'm taking. I want to say Georgia at plus 700 because since when in recent years can you get Georgia at plus 700?
I'd just like to point out the national championship odd discrepancies between the Heisman odd discrepancies. If you're looking at it, Ohio State's got 2 of them in there. They got their quarterback and their receiver. Penn State, I didn't see Drew Aller's name in there. It was a quick scan, but I didn't see him in there. We did have Gunnar Stockton for Georgia. But as you're going down the list, there's some teams in there that they do not have a Heisman frontrunner. I'm looking at Notre Dame. I'm looking at Ole Miss. I'm looking at Tennessee.
Texas now. No Arch Manning around.
And I had to look it up because it popped in my head all of a sudden. It looks like 5 of the last 11 Heisman Trophy winners have been able to win the Heisman and the national championship in the same year. So,
what was that stat?
5 out of the last 11. So if we're taking odds, it's about a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
You're leaning more towards somebody that is not winning the Heisman to win the national championship. So if we're really, really liking Carson Beck based on their schedule and how good Miami is,
not looking good.
Do we want to take him as the national champion or do we want to take him as the Heisman winner?
Look, dude, at Miami at plus 1,700, I'm feeling pretty okay with taking right now plus 1,700.
I think they're one of the best teams in the country.
Listen, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Spoiler alert. Let's go to our top 25. Look at our top 25. Look who we have at number 1. Look who we have at number 1 in our top 25. That's Miami. I mean, Miami. Yep. We don't think there's anybody in the business right now better than what Miami's shown us. I'm very confident in that. Not Oregon. I like what Oregon's done. I like Ohio State. You know, we have Oregon at 2, Ohio State at 3. I'll read through this real quick for the people that don't follow us on YouTube and are on Apple and Spotify. The first 3 that we have out is Texas, BYU, Arizona. I'm sure people are still wondering why we have Texas out. Well, look at what they've done. Like Dave said, they beat a really bad Sam Houston team, and they should have. Congratulations. And Arch Manning looked like he had a little bit of swag back. He was yelling at some coaches, getting fired up, running over players, whatever. It's been a huge topic of conversation. Arch, man, you do you. You do whatever you got to do to get yourself back. I kind of support it because the dude has taken blow after blow in the media about how bad he is. So whatever you got to do to get it back. 25 through 21, USF 25, Bama 24, Houston 23, Memphis 22, Tennessee 21, Washington 20, Mississippi State 19, TCU 18, USC 17, Iowa State 16, Penn State 15, Georgia Tech 14. At 13, we have Ole Miss. 12, we have Mizzou. 11, we have Vandy. Top 10, we have number 10, Texas Tech, number 9, Indiana, number 8, LSU, number 7, A&M, number 6, Oklahoma, and our top 5 is Florida State 5, Georgia 4, Ohio State 3, Oregon 2, the U, number 1. Fellas, talk to me here. What are you liking in this top 25? Obviously, we kind of do it all together, so hopefully you're liking the whole thing. But kind of explain where we're at here. Like, we see Mississippi State at number 19 on our list, and Mississippi State's not in the top 25 on the AP poll. Crazy to me.
I think the biggest difference for ours, too, is the fact that we don't have Notre Dame up here.
Or Texas.
And I don't understand why people are so high on Notre Dame. Like, you know, yes, they were good last year, but, like, we've clearly seen
this comment's funny. Jordan. Dave. Jordan comes in. I don't know if you guys saw it in the media, but Whit Weeks is doing some scouting in the Kiffin household. That comment's hilarious. Whit Weeks is trying to get the playbook for sure, man. If you don't know it, rumor has it that Whit Weeks and Lane Kiffin's daughter are kind of a thing, whatever you call that in today's world. They're kind of a thing, and that's hilarious. That's hell of a timing to drop a bomb for Whit Weeks. Sorry, Dave. Back what were you saying?
No, I was just saying, you know, Notre Dame was good last year, but let's look at what they've done this year. I mean, they're not – I mean, I understand they have played some decent teams, but –
they played good teams, and their losses are – they're like single-digit points on why they've lost. But
they didn't look impressive on the field either. Like, they didn't look impressive. Like, I could see if maybe, you know, they looked good on the field and they just were close losses, you know, maybe you lost to a field goal. But, man, they just – I haven't seen anything where I was like, wow, you know, they're going to be good this year. And I think at this point, they're only on the AP Top 25 because Notre Dame is a household name. I think that's the only reason they can be.
And it's the preseason bias that Nolan and I are always throwing a fit about, dude. Like it's the Notre Dame was like a top 5, top 10 team coming into the season. So it's really hard for these people to admit, hey, I was wrong. That's what we do here. Like we said last week, we clean sweep this. But there is no teams on our list when we start on this. So that's why we're constantly moving teams around to see what they do. And you see in Miami go to number 1. Like we constantly start from scratch. We might have been complete. We had Cal in our top 25 last week, and they get absolutely boat raced by San Diego State like 30-0. And we're okay with moving on. See you, Cal.
I even made a case of Cal might go undefeated literally a couple of days before that.
In our group text, you had texted, Cal may not lose, boys. Well, that Cal just got the shit beat out of him, Dave.
That changed very quickly.
Nolan, what do you think?
I did want to pose a question to you guys. I was toying around with this when we were talking about it in our group text on the top 25. Would you hear my argument for Indiana and Texas Tech over LSU? After we've seen how bad Florida looks, after we've seen how bad Clemson looks, I would even put them maybe behind Vandy. Vandy looked a more convincing win in that South Carolina 31-7. I know Lenore Sellers was out, but I would even hear an argument that Vandy needs to be over LSU. I would hear an argument that Mizzou needs to be over LSU at this point. They've looked okay. And I think that's coming down to like the line this week. We talked about the LSU Ole Miss game. Ole Miss is lower in the AP poll. They are favored in the game. And it is insane to me that happens. But I would hear an argument that we need. I should have posed the question. I didn't think about it until we started hitting record tonight. But I would pose the question that we need LSU all the way back at like number 12. And we need all four of those teams ahead of them at this point.
Hey, I don't hate that at all. Especially after Indiana just belt the ass to Illinois. I mean, we had Illinois in our list last week. I mean, Illinois looked to be a good football team. And we're going to get to that game later. And I don't think it's actually, so spoiler, it's actually in our quickie segment tonight because it was so belt to ass that we don't feel like there's, just look at the scoreboard. I mean, you see it. The game should have been closer than the score. It was an absolute ass beating. And that's why Mendoza's dog of the week. And I mean, everything else looking good for Indiana. What else? So, is TCU ranked in the AP poll? I don't even look at the AP poll, to be honest with you, hardly ever. Is TCU ranked?
I just pulled it up, and they are ranked. I can tell you exactly where they're at. I want to say they're like 19 or something. They're 24.
Okay, so we have Washington in ours, Mississippi State in ours that they don't. I think Memphis isn't not in theirs. I don't think Houston's in theirs. So there's four teams right there in the back half that we have in ours that they don't have in theirs. And I'm sure they have Tennessee much higher. Jordan's throwing a dagger at you, Dave. Glad you're awake tonight. Tennessee's much higher in the AP poll, I believe. Texas is obviously in the AP poll. I think BYU's in the AP poll.
Yep.
Where do they have Texas Tech?
Let's see. Texas Tech is 12. Okay. But the crazy thing is, Houston didn't even get votes in the poll.
That's wild, dude. Undefeated Power 4 teams need to get more respect, and crazy.
North Texas has 2 votes, and Houston has no votes.
Dave, we got a comment coming in that says that they're struggling to hear you. You have to speak up a little bit.
Oh snap! Okay, bet. Absolutely. I think it's these bugs outside is what it is.
Hey, you're outside sweating with the cats and the dogs and the crickets, dude. I get it. Got to keep the kids asleep. Nolan, what were you saying a second ago? I think you were muted.
Yeah, the mute monster got me.
I
don't know how some of these teams are not even getting votes. Although I will say, to your point, North Texas has looked good this year. The American Conference, if you guys want to watch non-Power 4 football, go watch the American. Everybody's tearing it up in the American this year. It's going to be a great race.
It is, dude. And I'm glad I got some preseason action on Memphis to win the conference because they look awesome. And that's why they're in our top 25 here. So, all right, well, no comments coming in live at the top 25. I'm surprised somebody threw daggers at us for not having Texas. And I'm really surprised we haven't heard more about that. But I just don't think they look like it right now. So this is how we do things here. Let's go ahead real quick and talk. Look, Dave's trying to make some adjustments for all the bugs. Look, right. Hey, Mike just commented, one of these weeks, his wife may let him come back in the house. I don't know, man. You got to remember, Dave's out on the East Coast. What time is it there, Dave? It's 8:49 then.
Almost 9, yeah.
Almost 9 o'clock. Got 3 kids in bed. I don't blame you, man. You just got to make it work for what it is. Mike came in. Texas is overrated again. Shocker. Texas is always overrated. Okay, our near misses of the week. We have one here. South Carolina 20 at Mizzou 29. We will get into that game more a little bit later, obviously. And then they gone. This is like they said in the beginning of the episode, kind of teams that were ranked or looked to be really good, and then they get beat. Whether it was a ranked team or not, where we move teams out of our top 25. And that is Illinois 10, Indiana 63. We talked about that many times. Don't need to go into that much more. Auburn 17, Oklahoma 24. This was a pretty good football game. We're going to dive into that more as well. Texas Tech 34, Utah 10. That score is a little more lopsided than what the game is. Do you see Texas Tech go in there in the fourth quarter and absolutely dominate? So that is it on the They Gone segment, which takes us right into fellas, let's go ahead and do our main game review. We're right here. It's time to do the damn thing. Let's get right into the main game review here and talk some high-level college football. And the first game that we're going to talk about here is Texas Tech 34 at Utah 10. You see Texas Tech go to 4-0. Utah moves to 3-1. This game was at Utah. This game was at 10 a.m. local time for Utah. A little ridiculous. Don't love that. I think it's the reason Utah lost the football game. No. Dave, tell me what you saw in this football game, then we'll kick it to Nolan.
I mean, I really thought it was going to be a more competitive game. I mean, I think like on the field when you watch the game, it was competitive, but I did not think it was going to be a 34-10 game. I thought it was going to be a one-score game at best. That was my first loss of the week on Sportsbook, so I wasn't too thrilled about that one. I think I had +7, and very quickly I realized it was not going to hit. But I think Texas Tech at this point needs some respect on their name, and I hate to be that guy that can constantly talk about NIL, but this is the influence that NIL is having. I mean, Texas Tech has money, and at this point, we may see a change, and you're seeing it now even with our AP Top 25. You may see a change in who the how should I say it, like the OGs of college football is. I think you're going to see a change because I think you have programs, and we even talked about it earlier. How Oklahoma State, has always been a powerhouse in college football, and they've lost, funding. They don't have the funding that other universities have. So Oklahoma State may be a thing of the past. Alabama may be a thing of the past. I think a lot of these big schools with a lot of money are going to probably rise to the top. And this just, unless it gets capped out, unless NCAA, sets a limit, it's going to change significantly, I think.
Yeah, I like Jordan's comment here. This is very true. Jordan said, I was excited for that game, and it was like watching paint dry. 100%, dude. This game was I felt a total letdown. Nolan, what do you got in this football game?
For as big as we talked it up as a shootout going into the week, it was underwhelming. That is the first thought that I have. Second thought I have is sort of like you said, this score is not really reflective of how the game went. I don't know if you guys follow it or not, but there is a sports journalist. He puts out how bad did you get beat every week, and it is the actual win expectancy from one team compared to the other, and it puts the difference. This game, I am not kidding you, it was 0.1%. It is about as close as you can play a game, and that score does not reflect exactly how close it was. For the Texas Tech side of the ball, I mean, Baron Morton just looks good. And even after he went out, their backup quarterback looked good. I will not hear the argument, though, that they look better without Baron Morton in the game. Baron Morton, I mean, he's going to take him. I think with his experience, that's what's going to be the difference. Utah's a good team, but let him run into a really, really high-level team, because before the season started, we all talked about how the Big 12 was just going to be this kind of circus show type thing where everybody's going to beat everybody. We're not really sure who's going to win. We all four had a different winner. I would love to see them run up against, say, like an Oklahoma defense, a Texas defense, somebody like that. That's where I think you're going to see the difference between Baron Morton and Will Hammond. The Utah side of the football, Texas Tech did a great job of keeping Dampier in the pocket. They made him try and stay in the pocket, pick apart a defense, and that's not who he is or what he does. If you don't let him create plays, kind of those crazy Heisman moment plays that we talk about, if you don't let him do that, I think the offense for Utah is just kind of mid. They're okay. They're not great. But if you let him create, I mean, you're in a world of hurt.
Here's where Utah wins football games and usually really good at football. They're very disciplined. They're very well coached. They're in a tough environment.
Yep.
And they take care of the football. Well, here's all things that did not happen in this football game. They're still well coached. But what happens is you turn the football over a ton on the plus side of the 50, which cost the over a lot of points. Your environment was 10 a.m. your time. Tough. That's tough, man. I heard somebody talking like student sections don't show out in the morning at 10 a.m. The Utah environment's more for 10 p.m. their time. So you take that kind of away and you let Texas Tech kind of come in, which was a better situation for them, I felt like, because you'd rather go there, like I said, at 10 a.m. than 10 p.m. And also, I think what makes Will Hammond, knowing he was better in this football game, he kind of, and why I think he was better in this football game is, one, the offense worked a little bit more, but still my thoughts on this are Utah wasn't prepared for Will Hammond. So he comes in and everything's different now. Utah is kind of off their defensive script. Everything looks a little bit different. Will Hammond's trying to get loose, making bigger plays in the moment because they just weren't ready for him. They didn't have a game plan for him. So when he comes in, it changes things up. Texas Tech, fellas, it's actually shocking with this stat right here that they won this football game because they had 14 penalties for 122 yards. That's not good. But here's where the other flip side of this is. Utah had a negative 23.62 offensive EPA. That's horrendous. That is nothing good going for your football team. Like I said, and you kind of touched about it again, this score doesn't reflect what it really was. Texas Tech scored 24 points, I believe, in the fourth quarter. So just kind of a weird football game. All the turnover, everything just got the game off script. Neither one of these teams looked, in my opinion, super great. I thought both defenses, other than the fourth quarter for Utah's defense, I thought both defenses were obviously the better units on the football team at the moment. And I don't know. I think Texas Tech kind of squeaked one out here. Obviously, the score doesn't say that, but I think Texas Tech kind of squeaked one out here. That they went into Utah and got a big win, and I think it helps Texas Tech a ton. And we see Texas Tech, they executed at such a high level in the transfer portal. Their D-line is really, really good. Their defense is really, really good. The offense, I think I still have to see more. Same for Utah. I'm totally with you, Nolan. I think outside of Dampier making plays with his feet and extending drives, I don't know. I think it works in the Big 12. I think their defense is good enough to slow some Big 12 teams down, and I think Dampier is good enough to go win you some football games in the Big 12. Let's talk one thing crazy. I saw this stat. This is obviously not my stat, and I didn't have time to look into it. Is this true off the top of your guys' head? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but does Utah really have 5 straight home losses to the Big 12? Because if that's really the case, that is wild. That is wild for a Utah team.
That is very bad for a Utah team if that's the case. I don't know if that stat is true. If you found that stat, I'll believe you, but I don't know. I don't know that stat off the top of my head.
I need to fact check that too, and if so, we're going to talk about that moving forward more next time they have a home conference game, because that's not great. I mean, I can believe it because they had a down year last year, right? Like that, so they weren't world beaters. So I can believe it. Let me throw up some of these stats here. You see Will Hammond. Marty comes in here. Rest up. We need you for golf. Yeah, we have a golf tournament tomorrow. Hey, I'm going to rest up. Don't you worry. This doesn't slow me down, baby. This speeds me up. You see Devin Dampier's stats if you're on YouTube with us here, 25 of 38. Yards per attempt, 4.3. Fellas, not great. That's really bad. That's throwing a lot behind the lines of scrimmage. Oh, how did I forget this? Utah's what is the score I got it there? That's not right. Utah's open field tackling was horrible. The one-on-one tackling in the open field was really, really bad. That was an outlier for me in this football game. I was like, wow, this makes this Utah team not look really good at all, because that is something that they can usually hang their hat on, is open field tackling in the one-on-one situations. Look at these penalties here. 2 for 10 yards for Utah, 14 for 122 like I talked about for Texas Tech. That's horrible. 4 turnovers for Utah, 2 for Texas Tech. 4 of 14 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down. This Utah team just flat on offense. Anything else on this one? Nolan, it looks like you're digging into that stat real quick.
Just fact checked it. You are correct. Last 5 home games they have lost.
Wow. That is bad. That is bad. I don't know what to do if you're Utah about that. I guess be better. Just be better.
Yep.
Anything else on Texas Tech, Utah? Texas Tech, clear front runner in the Big 12 now after this game, in my opinion, right? You guys agree with that?
Yep.
The next game that we're going to talk about here is Auburn, 17 at Oklahoma, 24. One thing that I felt like got talked about a ton in the media was the officiating. The officiating was really, really bad. There were some plays in this game that were
Well, the
very
SEC
questionable.
did just come out and say that touchdown scored was illegal.
That was the late substitution, or the
Yep.
fake substitution, I should say, right? Where they had the guy trot off looking like he was going out of the play and didn't go out.
Yeah, 100%. My thing is, I just feel like Auburn lost his game. Like, I think if Auburn would have done their job, that officiating wouldn't have made. I mean, dude, when you let your quarterback get sacked 10 times, you're gonna lose that game. I mean, it don't matter who you got at quarterback. It don't matter if it's Fernando Mendoza. It don't matter Carson. It don't. If you get hit 10 times as a quarterback, you're probably not going to play as well as you could. I'm not saying Jackson Arnold was amazing, but statistically he wasn't terrible. But at the same time, like, I just feel like Auburn. I mean, 13 penalties. I mean, you lost it for yourself. I mean, if yes, let's say you get that one touchdown back, but you don't create any of these penalties. You don't let your quarterback get sacked 10 times. I mean, they had more time possession of the football anyway. So the way I look at it is, if you got the football more, you should be scoring more.
Auburn was the more talented offensive team. Here's also why I think they lost it, because I'm going to go on record right now and stamp it. And we've been worried about this kind of so far through the first 4 weeks or 3 weeks of the season now. But this is 4. Jackson Arnold cannot throw the football consistently. There's some times where he can make some big plays and some big throws. I saw Cam Coleman running loose all game long. And he wasn't hitting them. And that's Nolan's guy. Like, I know Nolan saw that. Nolan and Brian are extremely high on Cam Coleman, rightfully so. And I am too. But that was horrible right there. Nolan, I'll let you go, but that was just one thing to me that I thought was awful.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to Oklahoma's defense, really. I think they're a top 5 defense in all of college football.
Yes.
I would rank them right up there with anybody in the entire country. You give me Oklahoma's defense and you give me a decent offense. Cam Coleman, I mean, I think he's a top 5 receiver in college football.
Yes.
If we're talking top 5 here. If Cam Coleman had I'm talking mediocre throwing quarterback, the dude would be putting up stats, and we might be talking about him in the Heisman race. But Jackson Arnold just can't get him the football. 10 sacks, that speaks to how bad Auburn's offensive line is, but how good Oklahoma's front is. That's awesome. But also, can we talk about, correct me if I'm wrong, Marvin Jones Jr. is at Oklahoma now, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
He looks like the player Georgia and Florida State wanted him to be. I don't know what clicked, but he looks like he's got it turned on and going. And if you can get somebody that looks like that, looks like an NFL player, if you can get him going off the edge, if you can get him going inside, I don't care where you put him, that's like a Ruben Bain-esque looking player.
Yep.
Maybe not as quick. Ruben Bain's a little bit stockier in the lower body. But if you can get Marvin Jones Jr. going, he's one of the best defensive ends in the country. And if you just have that at your disposal whenever you feel like, you're going to be a great defense. And with John Mateer's hand surgery, that defense can carry you to a couple games. They have a bye week next. Kent State after that. Texas, we'll see. Texas offense hasn't looked good. If you can just put up a great defensive performance and fall into the end zone 2-3 times, you could probably win the game.
Here, we were talking about that earlier in our group text about the Oklahoma defense can let you fall into some victories. Obviously, at Kent State, they're one of the worst teams in the country.
Yep.
Dave can go play quarterback for Oklahoma in that football game. Where I think they have trouble, and I think they're hoping he's back for the Texas game. I don't know what he had done. So anytime you tell me somebody had surgery, I don't see it. I'm not no doctor. You two are physical therapists and chiropractors in here, not me. But I don't see it. If you have any procedure done, I just don't find that to be possible. And in that Texas game, I think Oklahoma's defense, yes, is good enough to confuse an Arch Manning and to allow you to win the football game still. But, fellas, we saw it in this game again. They have no run game. They have no run game whatsoever, period. Doesn't matter. It's awful. When John Mateer is your leading rusher again this week for 29 yards, you have nothing on the ground. Now, I'm going to tip the cap and give some credit to Auburn's defense. They have a good defense. They have a good D-line. They did a great job bottling it up, keeping things inside, not letting anybody bust one out, keeping the play in front of them. Great job on their part. But this wasn't just an Auburn situation for Oklahoma in the run game. This has been a consistent thing for Oklahoma's run game. It's not good. I don't like it. That's one thing that makes me nervous moving forward if I'm Oklahoma. On the flip side of this a little bit, Auburn can't run the ball very well either. Now, give credit to Oklahoma's defense. They did a very good job. Clearly, they were the two best units on the field at all times, Auburn's defense and Oklahoma's defense. The one thing with John Mateer, but the injury is huge. The injury is massive for this Oklahoma team. But the one thing with John Mateer is when I watched John Mateer play football, and I said this last week, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to double down on it. There's two different John Mateers. There's in the pocket John Mateer, and there's out of the pocket making some shit happen John Mateer. In the pocket John Mateer isn't spectacular. Out of the pocket John Mateer is spectacular. That is where he really allows Oklahoma to unlock the offense, and they're a damn good football team is when he's on the move. So obviously defensive coordinators know this and they know the recipe, but if you're going to beat Oklahoma, it is keep John Mateer's ass in the pocket at all times and don't let him get outside the pocket. Because other than that, I don't think he's the best quarterback in the country like most people are saying.
I'm not sure if people are really serious about the best quarterback in the country stuff, because if they're actually saying that, they need to watch some football and see how the quarterback position is played. If you're talking about right guy for the right team, that has got to be the Oklahoma quarterback, because he is either going to make a big play or he's going to turn it over and you just rely on your defense to stop him anyway.
Well, the reason I'm saying that people are saying that is because until the hands, he was the Heisman front runner, like top 3 last week, top 2 this week. Like, people are loving it, and I don't feel like John Mateer is that guy. Like, he is not the guy I'm taking. I think also the fluidity of having the offensive coordinator, and his name Ben Arbuckle, right? I forgot his name last week too. Ben Arbuckle. That's huge. I mean, that is where it separates you, and you have that continuity. I'm seriously anxious to see what Michael Hawkins comes in here and does moving forward. And I don't want to get into some preview stuff too much, but I think he can be a really damn good recipe for Oklahoma's offense as well. John Mateer's stats, I just pulled him up just to make sure I had it right. He does have 1,215 yards, which is pretty damn good, averaging 8.6 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I'm not blown away.
I just think the Heisman race this year is not very deep.
He's got 5 on the ground. That helps. But I'm with you, Dave. I think it's more, like I said earlier in the episode, it's very coin flippy.
I mean, we look at last year. Last year at this point, we had like 5 guys that were like all studs. That were like
just last year, the situation with Travis Hunter just caught so much traction and it stuck. They threw it to the wall like spaghetti and it just stuck. I mean, it was going to take record-breaking seasons to dethrone him, and that was kind of the traction I felt like John Mateer was really getting too. Kind of like this, it's all over any mainstream media network. They're loving it. Anything else on Auburn, Oklahoma?
I just have to draw a comparison for the John Mateer. I'm not saying he is Johnny Manziel, but game kind of reminds me of him. He can create whenever he feels like it's crazy plays. If you're saying he's the best quarterback, I mean, let's just look at the draft class that Johnny Manziel came out in, because you are looking at Blake Bortles drafted the first quarterback, Johnny Manziel drafted second quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater drafted third, Derek Carr drafted fourth. I mean, if you're talking true quarterbacks, I would rather have the third and fourth guys on the list. Blake Bortles was okay for a season or two, but I would rather have the third and fourth guys on the list over the 1 and 2 at that point. So I think that's more so where you're talking about. He can win the Heisman because he creates those moments. He helps his team win. Can another quarterback do that type thing? But I can't hear the argument that he is the best just quarterback in college football this year.
No,
and I think he's hurt, so I'm going to leave it at what it is. Jordan, again, don't bring up Travis Hunter around Dave. No. Dave is 6-12 right now hearing Travis Hunter's name, if you guys know what I'm talking about here. So the next game that we're going to talk about here is Michigan 30 at Nebraska 27. Both these teams now 3-1. The Sea of Red at Nebraska was a fantastic environment to see on TV. Awesome to watch. I don't know if we lost Nolan. I don't know if his Wi-Fi cut out. Maybe he'll be right back. Not real sure. We'll leave him in here for now just to see what's going on. But, Dave, did you get eyes on this football game? What were you seeing? How entertaining of a game was this for you? Or were you kind of just like, kind of let down again?
I was It was entertaining, but I was kind of let down by Nebraska. Like I really thought, it was going to be a better game because truthfully, I don't think Michigan is that good. Like I really do not. I think Bryce Underwood is very overrated, and I'm gonna go ahead. And I think a lot of people are still high on him, but I just don't. I mean, both quarterbacks. I didn't think were very good at all. Now, granted, Dylan Raiola got sacked 7 times. So again, going back to Jackson Arnold, if you get hit that many times, you're gonna feel it. So that plays a role as well. But man, I mean, Bryce Underwood was very subpar. Dylan Raiola, other than that Hail Mary that he had, but man, I could throw a Hail Mary and I might get it. But
I don't
Michigan just controlled it in the run game. I think Michigan just ran through Nebraska, and Nebraska never had an answer.
Nebraska had the worst defensive line in the country. Damn near it seems like,
and they can't tackle. I mean, I have never seen a this high of a level game where there were so many missed tackles. Like I was mind blown. Like I was like, what do you mean you can't bring them down? Like either these guys are superhuman or you just are terrible. I mean, my thing is at this point, if you are at a school like Nebraska, how do you not know how to tackle?
Dude, it is seriously. It was the most outlandish thing I watched all weekend. Is the amount of times I saw Nebraska put a body on somebody one-on-one behind the line of scrimmage and not bring them down. And it's not because Michigan. It's not because Derrick Henry is playing for Michigan this week. It was just because Nebraska literally was not wrapping up. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Justice Haynes is really, really good. But, dude, this was everybody on Nebraska couldn't make a tackle no matter who it was. It was horrible. I'm with Dave on the stance that I wasn't blown away by either quarterback. I thought we'd see Raiola take a step up in this football game and really put the team on his back and will his way to a victory. I didn't see it. I don't think Dylan Raiola can do it. And I'm really nervous about our over win total now because the defensive line for Nebraska, like I said, is arguably one of the worst in the Big Ten. If not now, win type of deal, because Nebraska has studs at the receiver position, dude. Ja'Cory Barney is arguably as good as anybody out there. He gets open, he catches the ball, he doesn't drop it. He's getting separation. I think he looked really, really good. But like Dave said, man, 286 yards for Michigan. That's all they needed. That is all they needed to find a victory. And Bryce Underwood doesn't have to be special when you run for 286 yards. He can do the minimum, and they can leave the minimum game script in there for him. Hey, short passes, he did throw a dime deep. It was a beautiful ball. So, I mean, he shows that he has it, and I think it's all there. It's just some freshman stuff, man. And this was a hell of an environment. No one?
I think Bryce Underwood is still good. He's really good. And I think if you could – it sounds weird. If you could combine these two teams, I think you'd have a top 5 team. Because Nebraska's receivers with Bryce Underwood, give them Michigan's run game, give them Michigan's D-line, give them Nebraska's back 7. That's a top 5 team, man.
Nebraska's corners and stuff are pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. They're one of the best pass defenses in the entire nation. Yep. This game's going to help them because looking at the 105 pass yards. But even so, Bryce Underwood's stats, not great, but I thought he did a great job in this game, just doing exactly what he needed to do. Take what the defense gives you, get a third down here, get me second and short, get me third and short every once in a while, let my run game just kind of take over. And I'll push back a little bit on the Justice Haynes isn't Derrick Henry. That guy looks like he's the best back in college football, or at least top 3. I'll hear the argument that the 2 Notre Dame kids are higher than Justice Haynes at this point.
You're going to hear the argument from Ahmad Hardy from me, but yeah.
See, that's where you get into some arguments at. But 3-4, if you're going to tell me he's the 4th best running back in the nation, you better break some tackles.
Yeah.
But I really think if you guys remember what I said in the preview episode, this comes down to Michigan's defense against Nebraska's offensive line. Nebraska's offensive line is not good, man. They can't.
Average best.
In Raiola, I think he cares more about making a cool play than the actual play. Don't know if you guys saw it, but just about every single throw that he made, it's off his back foot. He's fading away like he's just trying to make it so hard. Just step into a throw and launch it. He has a strong arm, but he's not going to show it off.
I had that in my notes right here. Constantly throws off balance, makes it harder than what it is. Stats are much better than how he played.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It is because the talent's there. The talent's there, man. he gets nervous in the pocket. He wants to be on the move. He doesn't need to be. And he's good, but I just don't know if he's the guy for Nebraska moving forward. It's hard for me to say that confidently that he's the guy.
It makes me, like you said, it makes me nervous for our over bet. I thought Raiola was going to take a step forward.
Yes, I was banking on that. He did exactly last year what Bryce Underwood's doing this year. Like, Underwood's better, but like I'm saying, he played every snap as a freshman. He played in some big environments. He played in some big games. Thought for sure it would be massive for him coming into this year. We got a comment just come in, but he looks like Mahomes until he throws the football. You're right, he does.
Plays like Mahomes' brother.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. It is. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed in this football game. I think this was a statement game for Nebraska to go win and be like, hey, we're for real. And it's egg on my face. I said it since July. Why should Nebraska be scared of Michigan? It's a 3-point game, but it wasn't a 3-point game. It really wasn't. If you erase the Hail Mary, there's some things in this football game where if you kind of put that aside, Michigan dominated this football game, did what they had to do. I'm disappointed in Nebraska. I'm disappointed in Raiola. Heavily.
Legit question. If you had to go play a game tomorrow and you get to be Nebraska, do you want Raiola or do you want Bryce Underwood on your team?
Bryce Underwood.
For sure, Bryce Underwood.
I think that says it all.
That's a funny comment. Looks like Patrick Mahomes plays like Jackson. I love it. Yeah, it's Bryce Underwood. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have to say anymore about Nebraska. I'm not even a Nebraska fan, and I feel like I'm always trying to prop them up and beat them into oblivion that they're better.
I want them to be good. It's better for the sport if they're good. I really want them to be good, but they just
that environment.
Can't take a step forward, man.
That environment, dude, it was awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. That's what you want when Anyway, Michigan wins again. Well, I'm with Dave. I still don't think Michigan's that great. I think they're very beatable. I think they're maybe number 5, number 6 in the Big Ten. I think their name's getting them higher than what they are. They can prove me wrong again. But that's just where I'm at with them. I think their secondary on defense has some holes that they're not used to having. I think they were very exposed, even with the mediocre Raiola, because Ja'Cory Barney was loose everywhere. I think that they kind of got exposed for that. Have a good run defense, obviously. Have a good pass rush, obviously. But also, Nebraska isn't the best offensive line they're going to face, not the best passing attack they're going to face, not the best rushing attack they're going to face. So that's where I'm at. Any more on this game? Let's talk about a banger. Let's talk about a game that I got some more gray hairs than I already had. Talk about some games that I was taking years off my life. Only had like 3 strokes in the middle of it. South Carolina 20, Mizzou 29. And this looked like a very losable game for a little bit for Mizzou. Mizzou now moves to 4-0. South Carolina's 2-2. Dave, Nolan, I'll kind of let you guys go, and you guys know I'll play mop-up duty on this one. What do we got, Dave?
Man, this was a fun game to watch, though. I mean, if you're a fan of either team, it was not the game you wanted to watch because you were just on the edge of your seat. But I think it was one of the most fun games to watch over the weekend. And I don't think I tuned off at all for this game. I was, both people, you look at the stats, they don't look great on paper, but I think he just did what he had to do to get the job done in this game. Lenore Sellers I thought he was pretty good, but man, South Carolina could not run the ball. I mean,
no,
could not run the ball. I mean, that credit to Mizzou for stopping them, but I mean, when your leading rusher has 7 yards, I mean, -28 for Lenore Sellers, which we know like that's one of his specialties is running the ball.
Sacks come into consideration on that.
Yeah,
but to your point, he still wasn't, and maybe it's because maybe he still had a headache. I don't know. But he still wasn't getting loose and running the ball on 3rd downs and converting for first down.
No, they contained him very well, which I think that was a key to their success too.
Yes. Now, Nolan, go ahead. You were there. Jordan comes in real quick, says, does Mizzou have one of the best, if not the best, run game and run defense in the country? Yes. I don't think they're the best run defense and the best rushing attack in the country, but I think they are concrete in the top 5 of both as it sits right now.
Very much.
Nolan, what do you got?
I'll speak more about the environment. I'll let you talk more about the game. The environment was awesome. Everybody was loud. They had the new lights going, the flashing lights, third quarter, fourth quarter, halftime, everything. People were up. They were on their feet. I was one of them, yelling, screaming every third down. The crowd was into it. They could feel exactly how big of a game this was from the second you walked into the stands, and they were behind him the whole way. And I do think it really affected Lenore Sellers. There were times that he was just looking confused, like he didn't really know what to do. And you look at the third down efficiency, the fourth down efficiency, that's not indicative of a good Lenore Sellers team. That should be better than 60% on third down. Probably a 50% fourth down. If we're going to go 0 for 1, that's fine, But Lenore Sellers, with his run game ability, he should be, probably 7 of 11 on third down efficiency for the team. I think the crowd kind of had something to do with it.
I think it was the crowd, but I also want to chalk it up to kind of something that Dave was talking about too. When you're third and long every time, the game gets a whole lot harder. When you're 3rd and 8+ every time because your run game has zero life and you're kind of taking a shot on second down and you're trying to convert before it's even third down, it can make it really tough. Now, I thought Lenore Sellers throwing the football was as advertised, if not better than advertised. But Mizzou's secondary also let him be as advertised. Their secondary, this is where Mizzou's defense really, really struggles against running quarterbacks. It is some kind of disease that Mizzou defense has. When they play a mobile quarterback, they get caught looking in the backfield so much. You can bust them on a play action all the time. And if you erase South Carolina's 3 or 4 explosive plays, this game was not close. If you erase those 3 to 4 plays, this is a 29-7 football game. Now, obviously, you don't erase them, so you still have to give them the credit where it's due. And Lenore did what he was supposed to do on those plays. Those guys are loose. I think there was a couple where he could have threw him for a touchdown. And then they have to go battle on the goal line and things like that. So he could make some better throws sometimes. But, man, South Carolina's a good football team. Like, I know that they didn't get all the love because they just got blown out by Vandy, and I get it. But Vandy's a good football team. South Carolina's a good football team. And South Carolina's a hard win. I'll put it that way. They are a hard opponent to beat. They're not just going to let you have it. Beamer does a great job coaching them up, getting them to buy into the situation. And as long as you have Lenore Sellers, you feel good about what product you're putting on the field, except that run game, my Lord. Now, on the flip side for Mizzou, yeah, Dave, you're right. Prabula's stats weren't absolutely mind-numbing. They didn't blow you away. He doesn't have the stat of 300 rush or passing yards. But that's not what they're asking Prabula to do. They're asking this running attack to go absolutely get it like they did in this football game for 285 yards, and then Prabula doesn't have to throw for 200 yards. Prabula just has to not turn the ball over. That's all he has to do. Is when it's third down and they're asking you to complete a 5 or 6 yard out route, complete it. We saw him miss a big one in that football game, and that's when the game was still tight. And those are the throws that he has to make on a consistent basis moving forward to get this team to new heights where they're trying to go. On the flip side of this, fellas, Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts, that's a duo that, to answer Jordan's question like we already have, is a top 5 duo in the country. Maybe as a duo, they might be top 2 in the country. Maybe in the top 3 range for sure. And I love what they do. Ahmad Hardy after contact is, I think, still leading the country after contact yards with rushing yards after contact. It's insane what this guy is doing right now. We saw him completely off his feet one play at the goal line and comes back down to his feet and runs it for a touchdown. We saw this dude break like 5 tackles on one play. When Mizzou needed to be uplifted on offense, this is the guy, man. This is the guy. I love the receiving core. We didn't see a whole lot of Kevin Coleman in this game. I don't know if there was a hitch in his get-up that they weren't really talking about much, but we didn't see them have to use him much. And that's I'm hoping he's not hurt. That part's not encouraging. But what's encouraging is you still did this with kind of out your best receiver, your most consistent receiver that you get the ball to on third down. We see Northfleet only have 3 catches. Like, they did this without having to utilize guys that we expected them to have to utilize to win big-time football games in Northfleet and Coleman. Marquise Johnson is a dog. I talked all last year about how I thought Marquise Johnson should play more and get way more reps than what he was getting. This dude's legit. This receiving corps is legit. The offensive line, fantastic job against this South Carolina front when Caden Green's out. Dylan Stewart wasn't living in the backfield like I thought he was going to do. They really stepped up and made big-time plays in big-time moments and are proving to be a really, really good football team. Now, they got to play UMass this week. Should kick the shit out of them. I'm resting a lot of starters if it's me. Then they got to bye. Then they got Bama, so we'll see what they're really all about after that. Dave, anything else on this football game?
No, like I said, I just thought it was one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. That's not what I expected from this game. I thought this game was probably going to be slow, just because I figured it was going to be a running battle, but only one person could run the ball in this game.
Only one team was running the ball for sure in this football game, and we know which team that was. Hey, let's get right over to our quickie segment then. That does it for our main game review. Let's move right over to our quickie segment. And the first one that we're going to talk about here is Florida, Miami. And that is no one's football game to talk about. 4-7, Miami 26. Nolan, give us your best quickie.
I don't know what's going on with DJ Lagway, man. Rumors are he's in a boot this week. Has he not been right all season, and we're just seeing the product of him being hurt? I don't know. Florida's defense still looks like it's playing hard, though. They have not quit on defense. Offense, they look like they've quit. I don't think they're even trying at this point. Miami, on the flip side, I mean, they look good. You look at our AP, our personal top 25. Miami's the number one team in the country at this point, boys. They have it down pat. There's not anybody on paper that they'll match up against that I think is going to take them down. We'll see what happens later in the season. Miami and Florida State play here in about 2 weeks, and then Miami's got one more tough game into the season, and I'm not really sure if we're going to see Miami lose this year.
Miami, best offensive line, best defensive line in the country, in my opinion, combined. I said it last week. I'd say it again this week. I'm with you. Lagway, I don't know. It's bad. Really, really bad. The next video we're going to talk about is mine. It's Illinois 10, Indiana 63. This was supposed to be a main game. We thought it'd be a main game. This is not a main game. This was a game that you could turn off pretty quickly. Illinois did go down multiple defensive backs in this football game and got really thin. That killed them. That allowed Mendoza to light it up, throw 5 touchdowns. Indiana has a stable of running backs and receivers. They're like legitimately good and got rid of the stigma that they can't beat ranked teams. They answered that bell in this football game, took care of business, left no doubt in this one. Realize what I saw there. Illinois, 0 run game. Absolutely 0 run game. And I think they don't have much depth at receiver. Talked about Hank Beatty. If he's not doing it, who? I got an answer. Not really anybody. It's Luke Altmaier or bust on the offense, puts a lot on his shoulders. And when they play some tough opponents, this might be what you see out of Illinois. I think they're better than 10-63, but I don't think they are. I don't know. I don't know. I think I got to see more from Illinois to really stick my foot in my mouth on that. But I don't love their offense at all. Altmaier was sacked 7 times in this football game. Indiana's good. It's official. They're good. Left no doubts for me. Kurt Signetti knows how to get the most out of his quarterbacks and the most out of his football teams. This dude is proving that he is a legit football coach. How long can Indiana hold on to him is the question to be desired because the dude's legit. The last quickie that we're going to talk about, and Dave doesn't get this one by himself just because this is a topic of serious discussion that we think we all three want to hit on somewhat quick. Syracuse 34, Clemson 21. Dave, you go first because you didn't have a quickie. We're going to let you get yours. Go ahead real quick, and then we're going to touch on this a little bit more before we get out of here.
Man, I just think this was just a battle of subpar teams. If I'm being totally honest, like if you look at stats, like they were pretty much even all the way through. I mean, total yards, passing yards, rushing yards. I mean, first downs, literally everything. I mean, third down efficiency. One was 30 for 15, one was 3 for 13. Fourth down efficiency, Syracuse was better. But, man, for the most part, it was a very evenly matched game. But, man, they were just both bad. I mean, I personally stopped watching this game about halfway through because it was just very boring. There was not much going on.
Syracuse had 10 points per Clemson touched the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and then at that point, too, I was like, man, this is over. But, Steve Angeli did okay, 18 for 31, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. But then Cade Klubnik, let me tell you, he threw the ball a lot, but he was 37 for 60. I mean, you completed what was that, 52%?
60 passes.
60 passes.
60.
I mean, yes, he had 363 yards, but you better at least get 3 yards a throw.
Cade Klubnik. Hey, look, we got Brian in here. He's not on the show tonight, but he's here. Dabo on the hot seat. No,
I don't think so. And to his point, he even mentioned it, in the interview. He said, listen, I have won this conference, what was it, 8 out of the last 10 years.
Yeah, this is my
and conference. I agree. I agree. He's having a bad year. Last year wasn't terrible, but I think if he can at least go 500, he's good.
Here's my quickie part on this game. Clemson's not good. They're not getting the most out of their good players that they're supposed to. They're not buying into the Dabo message like usual. You have big-time players that are supposed to go in early rounds of this NFL draft, don't look good. Once again, I don't know what happened here with the Clemson record of 2-1. They are not 2-1. They're just not a good football team. And Cade Klubnik throwing the ball 60 times, that's strike 1, 2, and 3 right there. If you're throwing the ball 60 times, you're not going to win. No one, what do you got?
I'll push back a little bit on the not a good football team. I think they've quit at this point after they lost their first one of the season. I think they were a little down. They came in a little too fired up, put all their hopes and dreams on just the Clemson LSU game. From there on, I think I kind of same thing I said about Florida. I think they quit. You see some people jogging on the field, not really running, not really looking to make a true tackle. They're throwing an arm out there. It doesn't look like they want to play for Cade Klubnik either. They don't want to play for Dabo. They don't want to play behind Cade Klubnik. There's not people, even when he gets sacked, there's not people rushing over to help him up. Syracuse side of the ball, what about that onside kick, man? That's ballsy.
Fran Brown's got him. Balls are playing.
We talk about coaches playing to win. That's playing to win.
Let's
put it on them early. Let's get them down. Let's make them quit, and let's win. That's what it is. Syracuse, I thought, actually looked pretty good. It kind of sucks that Steve Angeli has that Achilles injury out for the season. Yeah, it sucks because he actually looked good in the game. He was processing it well. He was taking what the defense gave him, especially those first 2 drives. It was consistently 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. It was crazy.
He's legit. Hate that he's down for the year. Hate that for anybody, but Angeli got his chance to go start and looked legit. And looked like Syracuse could win multiple football games again with him at the helm. We'll see how it is moving forward. Yeah, I don't know what the situation for Dabo is moving forward. I'm one that's adamant he's not on the hot seat yet.
No.
Will they make a bowl is the question here. Will they make a bowl is the real question. We'll see. That is it for Clemson and Syracuse as well. That is all we have on the episode tonight. Thursday night, we'll be back. Thursday night, if you haven't looked at the schedule yet for this weekend or you have plans, cancel your plans. I don't care if you're in a wedding, you're getting married, cancel it. I don't care what's going on. Absolutely loaded slate. I don't even know where we're going to begin on the preview show because we want to preview like 10 games. We're going to review our Book It, a.k.a. Fade It segment on Thursday. And then we are going to dive all the way into some main game previews. And it, like I said, absolutely jam-packed in that episode. So make sure you are following us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all at Deep Threat Sports, XDT_sports_, Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting the alert button. Join in the conversation in here in our chat. Like all the comments that we got tonight. Also, leave comments moving forward. Hit our text line. We have a text line. You can see it on our Apple podcast. And make sure that you can shoot us a text. We have questions. We will answer them moving forward. I may book the fades, Jordan says. Hey, I like it, man. I don't know if you're saying that you're going to still ride with us on the Book It segment or if you're going to fade us. I don't know which way to take that. But either way, I like it. It's what we're here for. And we will get into all of that next episode. Hey, that's Dave. That's Nolan. I'm Colin. Fellas, until next time, peace.